Imagine a product so sought after, so revolutionary, that it promised not just to illuminate the dark, but to cure all ills, even to grant eternal youth. A product that, for a brief, dazzling moment, was celebrated as a miracle of modern science. But what if this miracle was slowly killing its devotees, one agonizing breath at a time? What if the very glow that captivated millions was in fact a death sentence? To understand this chilling reality, we need to rewind to the turn of the 20th century. In 1898, Marie and Pierre Curie made a discovery that would shake the scientific world: radium. It glowed in the dark, emitted energy, and seemed quite literally to possess mystical powers. The world was captivated. Radium became a sensation, a cure-all elixir. People drank radium-infused water, wore radium cosmetics, and even used radium suppositories. It was the epitome of scientific progress, a brilliant new age dawning. Simultaneously, a new industry was blossoming: the creation of luminous dials for watches, clocks, and military instruments. These dials would glow in the dark, a truly indispensable feature during wartime. Companies like the United States Radium Corporation, originally named the Radium Luminous Material Corporation, sprang up to meet this unprecedented demand. Their factory in Orange, New Jersey, employed hundreds of young women, mostly Irish and Italian immigrants, to painstakingly hand-paint these tiny dials. They were called the Radium Girls. These were good jobs for women of that era, paying significantly more than the average factory worker. The atmosphere inside the factory was vibrant, almost festive. The women, mostly teenagers and young adults, chatted and laughed as they painted. They were proud of their work, proud of the beautiful, glowing watches they created. The radium powder itself, a mixture of radium, zinc sulfide, and glue, was mesmerizing. It shimmered with an ethereal green glow. The women would even paint their fingernails, their teeth, and their hair with the radium paint to surprise their boyfriends with their glowing smiles in the dark. It was a novelty, an innocent amusement, or so they thought. The painting process was meticulous. The brushes they used were incredibly fine. Camel hair, sometimes just one single hair. To get the fine point needed for the tiny numbers on the watch dials, the supervisors instructed the girls to lip point the brushes, dip the brush in the radium paint, then put it between their lips to reshape the tip, then paint. Repeat, hour after hour, day after day, for years. Each time, a tiny amount of radium was ingested. Each time, the brush touched their mouths. They were literally eating the glow. Slowly, subtly, things began to change. The first signs were often dental problems: teeth loosening, gums bleeding, unexplained sores in their mouths. Mildred McNeil, one of the Radium Girls, recalled her dentist remarking on the unusual nature of her dental issues. But who would connect a toothache to the miraculous glowing paint? Doctors, like the rest of the world, believed radium was beneficial, even curative. When the girls complained of aches, pains, and fatigue, they were often dismissed, diagnosed with syphilis, a common but devastating misdiagnosis that carried immense social stigma at the time. It was easier to blame a woman's morals than to question the infallible progress of science. But the symptoms escalated. The bone pain became excruciating. Their jaws began to swell and throb. Some developed what doctors eventually termed radium jaw, where their jawbones literally disintegrated. One woman, Amelia Maggia, suffered so terribly that her dentist, attempting to extract a tooth, pulled out her entire jawbone, still glowing faintly in the dim light. It was a horror beyond comprehension. The radium, once ingested, traveled throughout the body, behaving like calcium, settling in the bones, emitting alpha particles, silently irradiating their bodies from within. Their bones became porous, brittle, and riddled with lesions. They were literally rotting from the inside out. Many of the girls began to die, young and full of life one moment, withered and in agony the next. But the company, the United States Radium Corporation, vehemently denied any connection between the paint and these mysterious illnesses. They hired their own doctors to tell the women they were perfectly healthy, or that their ailments were due to unrelated causes. They even actively suppressed research that pointed to the radium as the culprit, manipulating data and intimidating medical professionals. They knew what was happening. It took incredible courage for the affected women to fight back. Led by Grace Fryer, a former dial painter who could barely walk or talk due to the pain, 5 women decided to sue the United States Radium Corporation in 1927. They were terminally ill, their time running out. The legal battle was brutal. The company stalled, delayed, and used every dirty trick in the book, hoping the women would die before they could testify. The media, initially skeptical, slowly turned as the horrific details emerged. Dr. Harrison Martland, a pathologist who performed autopsies on several of the women, confirmed that their bones were radioactive, essentially turning them into living, dying X-ray machines. Their plight, their incredible suffering, captured the nation's attention. They became known as the Radium Girls. With the help of consumer activist Alice Hamilton and a determined lawyer, Raymond Berry, the case eventually went to trial. The women, frail and suffering, appeared in court, some carried in on stretchers. Their testimony was heartbreaking. Finally, facing overwhelming evidence and public outcry, the company settled out of court. Each woman received $10,000, a significant sum at the time, along with an annual annuity and coverage for medical and legal expenses. A small victory, perhaps, but a victory nonetheless, secured against unimaginable odds. However, the story didn't end there. The Radium Girls' sacrifice was not in vain. Their struggle forced a reckoning with industrial safety standards, paving the way for worker protection laws we now take for granted. It led to the establishment of safer handling procedures for radioactive materials and, critically, cemented the legal precedent for workers to sue companies for occupational diseases. Their legacy is etched into countless regulations that protect millions of workers from hazardous materials to this day. Yet, even amidst this impactful legacy, there's a persistent, chilling question that remains. How many times have we, even in our modern era, seen similar patterns of corporate denial, of prioritizing profit over human lives? How many unseen dangers still lurk, shielded by indifference or misinformation? The Radium Girls' story is a stark reminder that sometimes the most profound darkness can gleam with a deceptive, fatal light. To this day, the bones of some of the Radium Girls still emit a faint, ghostly glow, a silent testament to a forgotten tragedy and a powerful, haunting echo of justice hard won. If you want more stories of hidden dangers and dark corporate secrets, the next video explores the chilling true story behind Agent Orange and its devastating human cost.